Welcome students, Jeff here. Today we're going to begin your study of a country. You get to choose a country in the world to do some in-depth research about. You get to choose any country you want. We have a whole bunch of books and resources that you can use right here on your iPad, and you're going to do some research, take some notes, and create a travel brochure about your country. So to begin with, we're going to learn a little bit about something called political geography. Now, what is political geography? Now, we've studied all kinds of maps, and we now know that there are lots of different kinds of maps, and there are lots of different parts of maps. So to narrow this down a little bit, to start with, you're going to just learn about the places that people have made on those maps. I'll show you some examples. That includes like the borders around your country and the continents that you might find your country in. That would include the hemisphere that your country is found in. It would include the capitals and cities and states in your country. And it would include the flags and the symbols of your country. And political geography would also include the land size and population of your country. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that means in a moment. All right, first let's look at that first part, the borders of a country. So here's some examples. Now, Ecuador, for example, has these borders. Borders are these lines around your country. So part of what you'll do is you want to find some good maps that really show the borders of your country. That would also include like the continent. Like what continent is it in? If I looked down here, I see that it's in the continent of South America. That's the continent that Ecuador is located in. I also see the hemispheres here, right? We see that here's the equator, and here's the prime meridian, and I see that it's in the western hemisphere on this side, and it's also south. So we'd say this is the southwestern hemisphere down here. That's the hemisphere it's in. Let's look at some more examples. Here's Ethiopia in East Africa. So Ethiopia, here's the border of Ethiopia. See, it goes all the way around it here. What continent is Ethiopia in? Can you tell? That's the continent of Africa, exactly. And what hemisphere is Ethiopia in? Let's see here. It's in the southern hemisphere, on the bottom of below the equator, and it's east of the prime meridian. This side is east, so we'd say that it's south and east. We'd call this the southeastern hemisphere. That's Ethiopia. Let's look at some more examples. Oh, here we have the country of Iraq. Cool, or Iraq. And here's the border of Iraq. And we can see up here that Iraq is located up here. And so we could say that it's north of the equator and east of the prime meridian. So we'd say it's in the northeastern hemisphere. What continent is this in? Can you tell what continent this is up here? We'd say that that's in Asia. Or Eurasia, if you want to count this all as one big continent. All right, and a political map also looks at the states and the cities and capitals of a country. So here's the country of China, and these are all of the states or provinces of China. A political map, let's see, here's another example. Here are the countries and cities and capitals of Europe. So we see here the countries. The countries are different colors. Here's Germany is green. Italy is kind of this beige color. Then we see the cities are these little dots. These little dots are the cities of, say, France in this example. And then the stars are the capitals like Paris or Madrid down here, or London up in England. Those are the capitals. So part of what a political map does is it shows us the cities and the capitals. Again, these are places that people make, right? And so these borders, if I'm walking around in France, I don't necessarily see this border on the ground, but on a map, it's something that we see. Some other cities and capitals. Oh, here we go. We've got, these are the provinces of Canada, British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, and the capitals as well are these little stars here. What else does a political map show? Oh, Part of political geography is the flags of countries. So we want to find out about the flag of a country that you're researching. And what does that flag mean? So your books will certainly have some of this information, and if not, you can always do some deeper research on the internet. But what do the colors and the shapes on your flag represent? For example, here we have the meaning behind Mexico's flag. The green represents hope. The red represents the blood of national heroes, maybe from wars fought. And then there's this great illustration in the middle of the Mexican flag that represents an Aztec story. So this is an indigenous story about a snake eating an eagle eating a snake. And it's, I guess, about how the Aztecs chose the site for their capital city. Very cool. Oh, and this white represents unity. That's the meaning of this flag, and that's again something that it's kind of part of what people have, part of what people make, right? It's not like a mountain or a river. This is kind of man-made, the man-made part of geography and maps. And then the last thing that you'll be researching in your first part of your study of a country is the land size and the population. So if we look here, as we're reading about our country, we see that it covers 226,658 square miles. That's the size of in this case, of Madagascar. That's how big it is physically. That's the physical size of this country. And here we have, the size and population of Austria. And so here we see that Austria is home to more than 8 million people. So that's the population. That's how many people live, like people, how many people live in that country. And again, you'll be able to find most of this information in the books that you find. And if not, you can always just do a little bit deeper research on the internet to find that information. So what are you going to do today? What are you going to get started working on here? Well, we're going to start our study of a country, part 1. So for part 1, you are going to collect facts. I'd like you to write these down in your notebook. On the top page of that notebook in big letters, we're going to write study of a country. In fact, I would recommend going ahead and writing this down now. Maybe pause if you need to. But the top of the page is going to say study of a country. And part 1 is the political geography. So choose a country. Step 1, choose a country. What country did you choose? Write that down. Once you've chosen your country, and I would recommend perusing through EPIC. Look through all those books. Read about a few of each of the countries, just to get an idea of like what country is interesting to you. Or maybe you want to study a country that is significant to you for some reason. Maybe a country that your ancestors came from, or countries that your parents have visited or that you have visited, or maybe just a country that you are interested in for some other reason. If you're not sure, just look through those books and find a country that interests you. What country did you choose? Step 2, in what continent is this country located? Is it Asia, Oceania? Is it North America, South America, Europe, Africa? What continent is your country in? What hemisphere is it located in? Is it north or south of the equator? Is it east or west of the prime meridian? What's the capital? What is the capital of your country? What is the flag, and what does the flag represent? And how big, like in square miles, how big physically is your country? And what is the population? So that's the first part of your research, of your study of a country, is to answer these questions. You'll want to finish this up by Wednesday, so you have a couple days to work on this. And if you have any questions, make sure to let your teacher know. And have fun with this. This is going to be a really fun work. So try to find some cool resources or some books, and do some reading and see if you can find some cool facts.